Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is Saturday morning and we are off to Roots Market, which is a very large market near my house, probably in East Petersburg or Mannheim. Today we are going to be looking for flea market items, so hit that like and subscribe button, bring your drink, and let's get going. So as I'm pulling up to the flea market, I do notice that there are a lot less cars here on a Saturday. I'm not quite sure if it's because I'm a little bit late in the day, probably about 11 o'clock, or if it's because that Saturdays have a lot less vendors. But I'm going to pull into the parking lot and see what I can find. Now, generally this place is crowded, so Tuesday is probably the better shopping day. On Tuesdays, the market is open, the auctions are open. But since I'm here and it's not that far from my house, I'm excited to see what the vendors have anyway. So let's park the car and see what we can find. One of the first tables that I look at, I notice this vintage handbag. I've never seen a handle like this. Now I think it's regular plastic, but I know there are other plastics like celluloid, but I left that behind. Some of the vendors have very good prices and other people at this flea market seem to be high priced. So while I quickly did look at the table and see some really unusual items, I moved on quickly because you know me, I'm always looking for a deal. So starting down the first aisle, I'm always scanning to see what's going to catch my interest right away. And in this first bin, I spot some wood carved figures. I think a dolphin maybe. But when I looked at the quality of the carving, it looked too primitive, not well done. It was marked $3. I don't know if that was the actual price. And here is either a raccoon. Yeah, looks like a raccoon. I like things a little bit more finely carved. So I kept moving along, trying to keep my camera down. You guys know me, I feel bad if I get anybody else in the shot. I try not to film people, you know, without their consent, and sometimes it's a little bit of a challenge. Here, most of this stuff is just looking like yard sale stuff, modern stuff. I'm not quite seeing anything, you know, all that fantastic yet. So I'm on the move. If you ever see me at the flea market, please always say hello. Don't feel like you're going to interrupt me. I'm a crazy person. I am always flying up and down the aisles. And this next booth catches my attention right away. Hand embroidered vintage linens. Yes. Now, while I don't always pick up linens because linens can really trick you. A lot of times if you find linens, you don't realize there are spots or problems, issues. So when choosing linens, I really have to have a lot of time and be very careful. But as I started to look at what this seller had, it became more and more interesting, and then even better, he let me know that the whole booth was half off. So I do go through everything pretty carefully. Here I'm looking at jewelry bags. He had all kinds of linens. He had a teacup and saucer. But I was good. I did not pick up a single cup. Not to say I'm never picking it up, but I have gotten better because I do have a lot of single cups in my inventory right now. And they do sell, but at a much slower rate than what I would want. Here was some vintage sewing implements, and now I start to realize the quality and the care put into these linens. Somebody seemed to be selling off their resellers' lot of linens. All of this was ironed, washed, which was just amazing, and everything, if you see any tags, was half price. So I knew that I would be spending time looking at the linens, so I quickly looked at the hard goods first because he had less hard goods than he did linens. So I figured that in order to, have a chance at the hard goods, I would look at those first. Anytime I find linen tablecloths, I try to stay away from the ones that are geographical locations unless they are of the United States. So very rarely do I pick up linens that say Trinidad or Bermuda, but if they say like Cape Cod, absolutely yes, all day long. I thought that crocheted Afghan was good, but it was too small. If that would have been bigger, I would have picked it up. He had a lot of different linens with different embroidery techniques. He had applique, all different kinds of beautiful embroidery. When I look for vintage linens, if it's a pillowcase, I try to get two, at least two of the same print. If it's a kitchen towel, the same thing. I'm looking for sets of things. Not to say I won't pick up a single, but I find that they sell way better for the smaller pieces. Pillowcase, linen towels, I'm trying to think of what else, in sets of two. Here this was not hand embroidered, but boy was this bad pretty. But I don't know, without a branding, that would be easy to find on eBay. This gentleman just had stacks and stacks of gorgeous embroidered linens. I did try to take time while filming to look for spots, stains, anything that would really lower the amount. But here you can see I showed a $7 price tag, so that tablecloth would have been $3.50. And here is the first find of the day. Not embroidered, but I recognized the quality right away. This is Pottery Barn, and I grabbed it. This was a beautiful pillowcase. Look at that work, all hand done. I don't think I've found a second one of that. And sometimes with vintage linens, the staining happens because they are folded, and somehow the fold marks create staining. I'm not quite sure, guys, how that happens, but I find that quite commonly. The next portion of this video was a reseller that I made friends with. His name was Chris. I'm sure he doesn't watch my videos, but hey Chris, I really liked his booth, and these lamps were gorgeous. At first I couldn't figure out if these were wood. I just ignored the shade. The shade was, not worth much in my opinion. I really liked these lamps. And I don't remember the decor name of those, what era they would fit in. I'm thinking either Empire, or maybe if those were painted gold. I know they're not Regency. Leave a comment down below if you knew what style those lamps were. I think they would do well, but right now I probably have, I'm going to say, about 15 lamps going, so I held back from buying those. That could have been a mistake. Chris only wanted $4 for those lamps, so probably a mistake on my part. He's also a fellow reseller on eBay, and he had some interesting items. So if you see anything at his booth that you're hoping to snag, again, Roots Flea Market in East Earl, I think, Pennsylvania. Here I came upon a reseller, Vince, who I know from the thrift stores. I met Vince years ago at Goodwill, and we see each other from time to time, and this is his booth, or his, I'm going to say section, I'm not quite sure what to call it, in the field at Roots Market. He is here, I believe, every Tuesday and Saturday. So I did take a look at his items while we talked, chatted it up, and he has a very good eye for what is vintage. He's really got a good sense of what items do well. He is not on eBay. I believe Vince sells locally. I'm not sure if he's at the auction, and he is also at the flea markets. So I'm not quite sure what are the flea markets he does, but I'm taking it Vince has been here for a while because he has, I want to say, 4 outbuildings on this property. So he rents a space, and I guess they allow him to put outbuilding sheds to keep all of his items. Here I'm looking at this leather tooled handbag. Really nice, but I didn't feel to buy it. It did need some repair inside. Thought these dolls were interesting. Longaberger baskets, and right before this flea market I came from a yard sale where a woman was selling the collection of her Longaberger baskets, and I offered her $200, which was a low offer, and she wanted $300, and I did not go that high. Thought this photo frame was gorgeous. Vince knows the value of his items, so there's not much meat on the bone at his booth if you're going to resell. But if you're just buying for yourself, he has some really cool items. So again, keeping the camera down. And I think, well, I know that Vince knows that I'm a reseller, and he had some cool items further down too. I think I wind up showing them. So here's just jewelry. I don't do a lot of reselling of jewelry. Vince finds quite a bit of sterling silver and gold, yep, in the thrift stores in our area, which is Lancaster, Pennsylvania. He does quite well. And he directs me over to this table because he knows I love Pendleton. This corner blanket right here, I'm going to see if I zoom in on it, is Pendleton. So right now I'm looking at a wool army blanket, but see this brown one with the circles on it and the fringe? He wanted, I believe, $20 for it. And so I take a look at it, but $20 again is too high for me to pay. But here I'm showing you the Pendleton tag. If you find this vintage tag, you want to take a look at it, especially if you're buying in at a couple of dollars. Pendleton blankets do quite well. People, there is a whole following for them. If you find one that is like Native American blanket striped, I think it's called, those can bring crazy high money. Another little handbag. That might have been crocodile or alligator. And here I noticed another blanket made in Italy. which I was surprised that this main material content tag said acrylic. I thought this would be wool for sure, because this is a vintage Italian blanket. But again, he wanted $25, so I left that behind. So here I'm just going to insert a few photos of what I did wind up getting. It wasn't a huge haul, but really pleased with the items that I found. And at half price, I believe I paid $9 for everything that I had. Wound up with 3 pillowcases and the Pottery Barn fish print table runner. So I only picked up a few items, but I will be back on a Tuesday, probably very early in the morning, maybe before I even hit Goodwill. I will come and try to film a little bit more for you guys. This is the sign that tells you where to turn. So East Petersburg is 1 mile away, so it's near East Petersburg. But that is the sign that you look for to make the turn. And here I'll just give you a quick little clip of what the countryside looks like. I am so blessed to live in this area. It is just beautiful. When I first moved here from Long Island, I was missing the water because where my home was on Long Island, I was surrounded, you know, it's an island. I was surrounded by bodies of water, and I kind of missed that in Pennsylvania. But when you see the cornfields or the wheat fields and it's more towards the autumn time and the winds blow, it's just beautiful. It almost resembles or makes me think of bodies of water. Beautiful barns and land, just gorgeous. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little clip of me going to Roots Market on a Saturday, but I will definitely try to get back and hit it on a Tuesday, especially if it's good weather, because I believe the whole market is open and fully attended, and you guys can get a better sense of what goes on there. Thanks so much for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and as always, go out and get what's yours. So it is Sunday afternoon, and I'm not sure how the lighting is going to be down here. As you can see, I'm in my basement warehouse. I figured I would bring you guys along just to show you what goes on a Sunday afternoon to evening for me pulling the weekend solds. So as you can see, it's kind of chaotic, but an organized chaotic. I know I'm probably too close to the camera, but there's not much room left down here to back up. So I'm going to try to do the best I can and show you where we're at. Pretty much my organization plan has worked really well. You can see I have my washer and dryer in this corner, drying racks, and a vacuum. I vacuum this floor quite often. It's just the normal basement cement floor, but I like to keep it really clean, so I vacuum quite often, and I also wash it. Over in the corner is my ever-growing mountain of boxes. Some I keep built and some I keep flattened, I'm going to call it. And the flattened ones are in quite abundance underneath all of that. I probably keep, I'm going to say, probably about 100 boxes in stock, all different sizes, besides my priority boxes, my USPS priority boxes. So as you can see, I keep lots of packing peanuts. Probably I buy 6 to 8 of these at a time. This is the 14 cubic foot size. Now these are I'm not going to call them environmentally great. I rather have the biodegradable ones, the corn ones, but the price has gone up substantially. So I'm hoping when my customers receive these, because they are brand new, they will go ahead and reuse them. And that's the best I can do right now. I also keep stacks of bubble wrap everywhere, which you will see. These are the 200 foot size, and I get these at Office Max when they're on sale for $15. So this little corner is just my personal corner, and that's what I have left of my personal use. A few suitcases for traveling, and some home repair tools and paint stuff like that. So coming around this way, now I have not straightened, I have not done anything, and I have shut off the fans and the dehumidifier. See that dehumidifier? I run that 24/7 to keep the air quality really good. And on this side, I have hard goods. So this is my hard goods section, which is quite depleted Because of the pandemic and I wasn't able to source as much as normal, I'm going to say I probably sold, I'm going to guess, guys, maybe a fifth of my inventory without replenishing. So right now I am in replenishing mode, shopping like crazy, having a great time. Today I was at the Williams Grove Flea Market and got some really cool stuff. I'll be sure to do a haul with that. But as you can see, I'm just pulling the weekend solds. This is a hand-thrown pot. Beautiful, glazed. This little Roadrunner guy sold. This trinket box and this brass belt. So those were a few of the first items that I pulled. And I'll show you what's going on this side. This is the round rack of items waiting to be folded. This rack was just emptied and we are full again, which is a good problem to have. There are my shoes there. And see if I can squeeze past here to show you guys 2 more full racks of clothing, which I keep under plastic tarp to keep them clean. This clothing doesn't stay long down here. This comes down, gets hung up, always under the tarp or the drop cloth, and this has all been steamed and cleaned and is waiting to go folded into the bins. So I'm going to jump over to the other side. You guys have seen this side. Lots of, you know what, maybe I'll go around this side so you guys can see. I just cleaned these floors. I want to back up, see if I can get this shot. This is some of the Pottery Barn I've been bringing in. I'm going to do a Pottery Barn thrift with me and haul this week, so you guys can see how I pick up lots of Pottery Barn. This shelf here has quite a bit of linens, a lot of it, again, Pottery Barn. Some of it IKEA, West Elm, Restoration Hardware, and more Pottery Barn, quilts and curtains and drapes down there. See if I can do that. Okay, now coming over to this side, which again, you guys have seen this, but I figured I would just jump down since I'm pulling inventory this Sunday afternoon and show you. This system or layout is working great, amazing. So I still get a little bit of sunlight coming in behind the shelves, and these bins have all of my clothing that is packed in it. Everything is in Ziploc bags, and yeah, so this is what this side looks like tonight. I think it's about 4 o'clock, so really late afternoon. You can see the cart there I have pulled. I wheel this cart around to collect whatever has sold, and I come up and down these little aisles, opening bins. There's women's outdoor vests. I know the angles are going to be bad on this video, but forgive it and just go with the flow. I didn't hook up lighting or anything. I want to be able to do these impromptu, this is what my life is right now during this minute, without setting everything up for a video. So hopefully this camera will be able to handle making this light. I imagine I'm quite shaky. I did try different tripods, but I'm still yet to get one that is self-leveling that I'm holding. That's what I need next. So you can see I sold a pair of Nikes. This is the last pair of this shoe that I picked up. I picked up a great quantity of these, and these were on sale. I'm thinking I got these for $9 a pair, and I think this one sold for $30. So that's the last of the Nike sneakers. I've had them for a while. Here I've collected just a few pairs of jeans and some other things. This whole wall, see if I can back up again. I'm banging into stuff, is men's clothing, and I've shown this before. This is where I keep my taxes. So I have all of my taxes that have been completed, organized. And swinging around this way, this wall is still men's jeans. I do very well with men's jeans. And you can see these little bins hold a variety of things. These bins are always changing depending on what I pick up. Some of them stay with the tags you're seeing, like scarves. I will always sell scarves, but some of them change in and out. Like belts grew, so that went into a bigger bin. So that bin is now free for me to rename it and sell something else. Eyeglasses, gloves, jewelry, pens and pencils, socks. Yep, I sell new socks. Stockings and tights, men's ties, wristlets and wallets, and watches and cases. And we're back to taxes up top. So that's what that looks like. Now we'll bring you down this way. This basement is about 1,400 square feet. Sorry if the lighting is too bright down here. While I'm pulling, I try to have really good lighting. This is my shelving system where I keep some of the backup of the priority boxes. I also have a great supply upstairs because I go through a massive amount of boxes. So I get these delivered probably once a month. I'm ordering boxes. All of these items are free on USPS. If you're using a priority service, I don't think they have any boxes for first class, but they do give free boxes for priority. More bubble wrap. Shrink wrap, always tape, a ton of tape up there. I have probably, I'm going to guess about 100 rolls upstairs. And where else do I have tape? I have another box of it somewhere around here. There's tissue paper. Those are my movies. For the few times that I turn this TV on when I'm down here, for a while and I want to listen to a movie. Very rarely watch a movie down here, but I always listen. And here are a few of the items that I pulled already, probably about 15 items on the table, most of it clothing over here because it came from this side. Pottery barn. These are actually some towels, really pretty. I think these are Martex. So that is what's going on tonight down here. Thought I would just show you kind of like a little view of my world. And yep, I am really organized. I have to be, guys, with this many items and shipping out this much, selling this much. If I wasn't this organized, I would lose my mind. So that's just a little clip of my world right now. It's Sunday, I think it's the 26th at about 4 o'clock, somewhere around there. I've lost track. And that is what's going on here. Maybe eventually I will do another basement warehouse update, but right now this is staying status quo and it is working really well. You guys have seen this covered canvas shelving. This is where I keep the art prints, framed prints, because I really want this to be climate controlled. And this has a plastic covering, but it's loose because you always want your artwork to have air. So it's important. And I do run a box fan. I don't know if you could see it down there. And I keep a box fan running for circulation, especially in this area where I have wood and art and things like that. You really want good air circulation. So that is just a snapshot of what it looks like down here. Looks like a little store. And there is my fairly new oil burner. I bought this with some of my eBay profits. I've already told you guys that. Had a new burner and a new heating system put in the house. Also, that oil tank over there is new. And that's what I spend my eBay profits on, besides supporting myself. I love just upkeeping my house. Makes me feel like, it's just a wise investment. Okay, enough of the commercial. Hope you guys are doing well and go out and get what's yours.